The views and opinions expressed in this content are that of a continuously evolving nature and are subject to change as humanity evolves into higher states of awareness.
So I finally, after 6 months, I phoned up because I thought I'll lose my place. And I kept thinking about it every day. I wanted to do it. So I phoned up. And I said, is it all right if I come? And she said, yeah, we've been waiting for you. You ready to come now? And that's how I came into Judiths Circle. And very, very powerful. We only did it for 1 day a week to begin with. And then I did it for 2 days eventually. But I was in her circle for 5 years. And the things that happened in that circle was incredible. And what I did was we would sit in circle like that in the dark. We'd hold hands and we'd go, Our Father who art in heaven. And I would go deep. Couldn't move. And those few words, and I'd be wide awake. It was absolutely, you couldn't hear a sound in that room. And every time we came out of the room, it was 9 o'clock, and the clock was chiming 9 o'clock. You couldn't hear it in the room. And sometimes it felt you were in there for hours, and sometimes it felt as if you were there 10 minutes. But we had so many people. We did a lot of rescues. A lot of people have died and they don't know they're dead. You know, and they're frightened of death because they're going to get hell through the religions. The religions do so much harm when they teach this rubbish. And, you know, so they don't know to go to the light. But so
you're suggesting when people pass over, they can create their own reality there as well?
No, you can. If you're frightened, you won't go to the light. You won't go because you think you're going to go to hell. Because you don't. Everybody thinks, I'm not perfect. I'm not going to go to heaven. I'm going to go to hell. So they get trapped here. You know, and that's why you see ghosts and things. And, you know, so, I mean, there was a child, a little boy came to us. He must have been about 3 or 4. And Judith, you know, she talks like the little child. You know, her voice changes. She can, and all sorts of things. And this little boy came to us and he said, I can't find my mummy. I can't find my mummy. And Judith can see all this because she's a medium who wants to see everything. And she told us afterwards, she said, I could see this little boy on the beach. And he'd gone into the sea and his mum had told him not to do it. And he ran off and went in the sea and got drowned. And he sees himself in the sea. He sees his body being picked up. He's out of his body. He watched the ambulance come and his mummy's crying. But he can't go in the ambulance. And he sees the ambulance go and it's got to night time and all the people have left the beach and he's walking up and down on his own. And he doesn't know what to do. He's confused. His little soul is like that. And so they sent him to our circle. His guides sent him to the circle through Judith. And we asked the angels and Jesus to come for him. And she saw him being picked up and taken to the light. Otherwise, he would be on that beach even today. So there are so many souls that need rescuing around the planet, especially if you're soldiers. You know, a lot of soldiers need to be rescued. So it's amazing the work that these people do, and that's their job too. They're rescuers. A lot of people put crystals all over the planet, you know, opening up the ley lines and things. And they go all around the world doing that. So this is their job and this is what they're doing. And they come together to do a certain job. And we went together in that circle to do, you know, we had Outer Worlders come. And, yeah, but we had also philosophers. I mean, one day there was one person in the group as well, in Judith's group, and he channeled. Now, he had a very soft voice. You could hardly hear him. But one day, he came out, and his voice was so loud, it was like a giant, and the whole room shook. And I nearly came out of my body. I mean, it was so... I was shaking all over with this voice. And all it said was, I am Hercules. How he didn't break his voice box, I don't know. But it was amazing. But it was just to show that what we are capable of. Yes? And it didn't hurt his voice or anything. But that was amazing. That was one. But one day we went in, because a lot of people, you know, and she does herself, you know, she wanted proof all the time. But I never questioned it, because I just had a knowing that she was genuine. But some people do question it, and but they asked for proof. And one night what happened was it was 80 degrees all day. It was boiling hot, and it was still very hot in the evening. And the sun was on that room, on the wall. Even though she blacked it out, it was boiling hot inside that room. And because the wall was hot when you touched the wall with the sun, from the sun. And we walked into the room, and it was freezing. You could see your breath. It was so cold, you couldn't believe it. Now, you can make a room hot, but you can't make it cold. And we were shivering, and we could see our breath. And I said, my God, what's happening here? And we sat down, and this outer worlder came, and he said, what's the matter with all of you people, you beautiful souls? And we said, well, we're cold. We've got T-shirts on, you know, and summer dresses. We're so cold. And they said, you humans are so primitive. You don't even know how to use your bodies. They said, don't you know that you can heat your bodies? You don't need heat in your houses. You can heat your bodies and you can cool them right down. He said, how do you think the native Canadian Indians lived in teepees in the weather that they have over in Canada? They knew how to build a fire in their bellies. They could heat their bodies.
Really?
Yes, really. But we don't know how to do it. We need to learn how to do this. We're so primitive. And they said, and you're still killing each other. Why are you killing each other on planet Earth? Why do you have so much hate for each other? Grow up. Time to grow up. Time to stop being children. Because you are creator gods, and that really told us off. And when they left, within seconds it got boiling hot. They sucked all that cold out of that room. It was amazing. I've never forgotten it. And it proved to Judith, I said, now, why do you need proof? Look at that. Because it was so cold. And yet we warmed right up. It got up to 80 degrees again there in that room. It was so hot. Because it had built the heat up. You know, it built up the heat in the room, you know, normally. Even though she blacked it out when you had the sun on that wall. So that one was amazing. And another one which stood out with me was this man came to us from way, way back, probably 2,000, 3,000 years ago, a long time ago. And he came and he said, I've been sent to you. He said, I wonder if you can help us. Help me. And we said, why? What's happened to you? And he says, well, he said, when I was on the earth plane, he said, I never loved anything. Anything. He said, I couldn't feel love for anything. And he said, I didn't love myself at all. And I went through a lifetime of hatred. And when I stepped out of my body, I'm in this dark room. But I'm so stubborn, I don't want this love. I don't want to experience it. So I'm stuck here. And I've got shadows here. And they're trying to get me out of the room. But I'm so stubborn I won't go. Because I don't want to say I'm wrong. Because of ego. And I've been stuck there for a long time. And Judith can see this. Because she tells us afterwards what happened. What she sees. And then so we said, well... We said, do you now want to come out of the room? And he said, yes, I do. I've had enough. So we said, right, well, what you need to do is to find some light. Can you see any light? I can't see any light. He said, no way. I said, look, maybe in the corner there's a light, little sparkle of light, and it will get bigger. No. Well, we tried for about 10 minutes to be with this man. And in the end, we said, look, we're going to have to stop this. We're going to stop this. We're going to tune into Jesus. We're going to say the Lord's Prayer and see if we can get back to you. This is what we did, and we asked Jesus to come and get him. Then we went back into it, And then Jesus came and he saw the light and he took him to the light, took him out of that room. And when Jesus came back, she said, what I saw was this dark room, and after you said the Lord's Prayer and you went back again, there were little sparks of light in the room, like stardust. And he said, and all of a sudden in the corner there was this light and the doorway opened and Jesus was there, and he came and took him and lifted him up and took him to the light. So, and that was quite something that night, that we rescued that poor man that had been there. So how many souls are stuck for thousands of years in you know, you don't realise when you're on this plane that everything you do, every thought is record. You have a record of it. So treat each moment as if you're going to die in a second. You know, be ready for it. Because a group of kids went to Manchester to a concert and they were killed by a bomb, a young man that came in with a bomb. Those kids were full of life, and one minute they were here, one minute they were not here. And you never know when that's going to happen. You can cross the road and it can happen. So always be ready, and that's what they teach us a lot. Always be ready to step out of your body, because you never know when it's going to happen. And that is so true. So once you know that, and if you believe it, and you live like that, you will live a good life.